Most horror scenes fail for one simple reason. They try too hard to scare the audience before they make the audience uncomfortable. A creepy scene is not loud. It is not rushed. It lingers. It makes the reader feel like something is wrong before they can explain why. If you want your horror scenes to actually feel creepy, not just dramatic, this is where you start. Creepy is different from shocking. A shock happens fast. A creepy moment crawls under the skin. It creates unease. It suggests presence. It lets the reader feel watched, exposed, or out of place. The best creepy scenes do not begin with violence. They begin with atmosphere and uncertainty. The reader starts leaning forward because the scene feels infected with meaning. If you want a scene to feel creepy, start by making the setting feel emotionally wrong. A graveyard at noon is one thing. A graveyard where every bird suddenly goes silent is another. A mountain trail is normal. A mountain trail where the fog seems to stay in one place no matter how far your character walks is something else. The setting should feel like it is quietly resisting the character. Before the threat appears, the world itself should feel off. Writers often think creepy means describing what the scene looks like. But real dread comes from sensory details that feel slightly wrong. A smell that should not be there. A cold spot in warm air. Mud that looks recently disturbed. A sound that stops the moment your character notices it. Creepy begins when the senses notice something the mind cannot explain. One of the easiest ways to make a scene feel creepy is to place one detail in it that does not belong. Not 10 details. 1. A child's shoe in the middle of a trail, a rocking chair on a cemetery porch, fresh, muddy footprints leading to a locked crypt. That single wrong detail becomes a question, and questions are fuel for dread. Creepiness gets stronger when the character is vulnerable in a believable way. Maybe they are alone, maybe they are exhausted, maybe they know they should leave, but they need an answer badly enough to stay. Fear becomes stronger when the reader understands exactly why this person cannot simply walk away. One of the biggest secrets in horror is pacing. Right when the reader wants the answer, slow down. Let the hand hover over the doorknob. Let the character notice the wet dirt under their boots. Let them hear the distant scraping before they understand where it is coming from. Creepiness lives in hesitation. If you rush to the payoff, you kill the mood. The creepiest scenes often do not show the full threat. They imply it. A shadow between trees, a figure too far away to identify, a voice heard once and never again. When you leave room for the reader's imagination, their mind starts writing the horror for you. Suggestion is often more disturbing than explanation. Sometimes the scene becomes creepy, not because of what is seen, but because of how the character reacts to it. The throat tightens, the breath shortens, the voice drops lower, even when nobody is there. The body often knows a horror scene is dangerous before the mind can name the danger. Here is the difference. A weak horror scene says, "She walked into the graveyard and saw a ghost." A creepy horror scene says, "By the time she noticed the graveyard had gone silent, she had already passed through the open gate. The mud along the path was smooth except for one set of footprints, bare feet, fresh, and every print pointed toward her." Same idea, different effect. One reports danger, the other lets dread bloom inside the reader. So if you want a horror scene to actually feel creepy, remember this formula. Start with wrongness, add vulnerability, delay the answer, then give the reader one clear detail they cannot forget. Wrongness, vulnerability, and delay. That is the backbone of a truly creepy scene. Take one of your horror scenes and test it against this. Is the setting wrong? Is the character vulnerable? Is the fear delayed? And is there one disturbing detail the reader will remember tomorrow? If not, sharpen it. And for more dark storytelling ideas, horror writing tips, thriller hooks, creepy vibes, and villain psychology, subscribe. We are building darker stories together here.